Hi everyone, I'm Dhruv Arora. Today I'm going to talk about brushless RC motors. Basically, there are so many motors available in the market that sometimes it gets so confusing, especially for the newbies. So let's try and understand what do these numbers and all exactly mean which are written on the motors. So we are going to take an example of this turret motor. It is a 4114-11 320 kV motor, and we are going to talk about motors taking this particular motor as an example. So now let's come to the first number which is mentioned on the motor. On this motor it is mentioned as 41. Here the 41, it stands for the motor or the rotor diameter. This is basically the physical width of the can or the physical width of the rotor inside. Uh, you know what? Actually, there is no standard for brushless motors currently. So sometimes this number, it can be either for the width of the housing outside or the inner rotor which is inside the housing. So you'll have to check with the manufacturer. Sometimes it's kind of required, just to avoid any confusion. So generally, the more the wide the motor is, more the torque it is going to generate. So the size of the motor matters a lot, depends on your application, depends on your requirement. So just choose the motor carefully. We'll come to the next number, that is 14. 14 over here would stand for the motor or the rotor height, this one. Or it can either be the height inside the housing, or it could be the height of this outer can. Again, the same reason, since there are no standards. The next number would be 11-11, or it could be /11, maybe in some other motor by some other manufacturer. This basically stands for the number of wire turns that goes around each pole inside the motor. Smaller the number, faster the motor will turn, but it will generate lesser torque. Larger the number, more magnetic field it is going to have, and therefore more torque will be generated. We'll come to the last part, that is the kV. In this case it is 320 kVs. So what exactly does kV mean? kV basically stands for number of resolutions on your motor per volt without any load. Make sure you keep that in mind. It is without any load. Once you put a load, automatically the RPM has to go down. For example, in this motor, if we take it as 320 kV and we give 6S or 22.2 volts on this, so we would multiply 320 by 22 and we will get 7040 RPMs. So this is the max number of RPMs that this motor can reach under no load. Once you install the propeller, this will go down. So what does this exactly mean to you? A motor with higher kV will have more top end speed but not as much acceleration or torque. A motor with lower kV will not be as fast but will accelerate faster. So basically these are the numbers you will always see either on the motors or on the spec sheets, or sometimes there are some kind of heat shrinks on these wires and mention on that. So it's different again with different manufacturers. Just look into it carefully before you're going to select a motor for your RC plane or your hexacopter or multicopter. I'm going to discuss how you're going to select your right motor for your plane or multicopter in my next video. Take care of yourself, guys. Happy flying.